There you go.
Welcome to another good episode of Two Smooth Operators,
Two. Now we got
the
three
only
smooth operators.
podcast about gate operator life for technicians. Your hosts, Michael Brooks and Robert Evers.
Right
Stay
here.
tuned for another great episode.
Robert's over there. There we go.
What's up?
Setting the standard high right at the beginning, man.
Yeah,
Right
warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just realized that I forgot to get all the links that Alex had given us and put them on the chat. So, all right. Well, we got Alex with all security equipment today, and we're going to talk a bit about distribution and entrepreneurial advice and LiftMaster's new barrier arm, which we were talking about behind the scenes. So that should be a pretty fun conversation. So, Robert, what do you buy from a distributor or do you buy direct or both?
Distributor.
Yeah, that's what I've always done as well too. And I think that distribution model, there's a lot to it. So, Alex, how did you get involved in the whole security business? What's your background, and what made you go crazy and think that you were going to start a distributorship? And how long ago was that?
So it's actually a pretty interesting story and very in line with. I didn't tell you, so you don't know anything about how I started. We didn't talk about it, but the funny thing is, like, we're talking about entrepreneurship. And so what happened is that I'm in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And so I used to work in construction, and my goal was to do sustainable construction. So anything that is renewable materials and all these things. Did that for a couple of years, more than that. And I just got crazy with the people in South Florida. You know, South Florida is a great place, but it has its problems as well. I would say construction is one of them, and kind of got fed up of it and wanted to either start a business or buy a business. So I started reading, entrepreneurship books, and found one which is like how to acquire a business. So I wanted to find something that was in the construction niche and also in the e-commerce, so anything technology, because that's one of the things that I love. And so I totally stumbled upon this distribution business in Miami. That was actually one of the first one that was doing online. And so I acquired the business in 2020, and then never looked back, and trying to make the best, online distribution that we can to help everybody in the business.
Awesome.
So I haven't, I'm not 100% familiar with your business. So is it strictly online? Is it all online?
No. In fact, we have a warehouse. We have people walking in. It's just that Miami is a strange place to do distribution. If you've never been, I'll be happy to show you. But it's a great place. And so one of the things is being able to be online also allows us to, have more customers. So that's what we're doing it. But it's if you come to our warehouse, you can buy, but you can also buy online. The idea is to make it practical. That's the whole concept of it.
Where do you ship to?
Anywhere.
Yep. Gotcha. So, how many locations are there, and what's your position in the company itself?
Just one location. We have some 3PL, some other distribution center, but those are not open to the public. And I'm the owner of the company.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome to owning your own business. You've made the worst decision ever.
Yeah. It's I love that saying. It's like, we didn't do that because we thought it would be what is it? We didn't do that because it's easy. We're doing this because we thought it would be easy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those, one of the sayings that I hear out there is, it's from the E-Myth book, which we'll talk about books here in a second. It's you finally get fed up from your job and you're like, oh, I see what the owner of this business is doing and he's a moron. So you quit your job, you go start a new business, and then realize that you're working for another moron yourself. So it's the entrepreneurial seizure that people have. But you get to take all the reward and you get to take all the pain, right, Robert?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So so I was looking at y'all's website, and it actually has got a couple of cool things on there. Tell us about the pro account that you guys have.
Yeah, so I know that we talk with a lot of business owners and installers, and we're trying to make it as like our goal is really to have as many installers as possible. So anybody can go on the website and then I would say apply for the account, but we vet only people that deserve to get an account. And then the idea is that every month, out of all of our pros that buy during that month, we pick someone randomly, and either we offer them, so it's a gift, so usually we try to make a gift that's more than $1,000, or we give them a store credit for $1,000, and that we do that every month. And so the idea is to help people. So you want to get into you want to try something new. So for example, we have the EMX long range reader, RFID. That's like the new one, because EMX they bought a company that was doing that, and now they are rebranding everything, and they're starting these products. And so the idea is to make people try something, or to also give them $1,000 to do whatever they want with it. So we not only have gate operator related items, we have tons of like locks, safety, cameras, tons of things. So either you can just save money by getting $1,000 off your purchase, or you can just use it to buy something else for your team or yourself.
So do you have a COD account for the pro account, or do they all have to have a credit?
So the point is, like, my idea is to do it as easy as possible. Like, that's the whole goal of all security equipment, is convenience. And so you open an account, and you can do either, if you want to use your credit card, you can use your credit card. If you want to, pay by wire, you pay by wire. We also use a company called Resolve Pay, and I think that's one of the link you have in the chat.
Yep.
Which is so it's a company that allows us to give terms to people. So net 30. Okay. And then it's it's a spin-off of Affirm. You guys know Affirm? It's like, buy now, pay later.
Yeah, so, I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah, and so Resolve is like the B2B side of things. And what we love about them is that whenever you get approved, so first of all, you get approved in like 24 hours, which is like the coolest thing. Like literally, we have people that apply for terms, and we approve them within 24 hours, sometimes same day. But the good thing is, like, if you're a good person and you pay your bills on time.
I'm not a good person.
Yeah, we're neither of us.
It gets reported thoroughly, all the business that we do. And so what it does is that it creates like a credit history for your business. So that way, if you want to bid on bigger projects, federal projects, big company projects, they see that history. And that's going to put you on an advantage compared to people that do not have that history. And so that's one of the really cool things that I didn't even know when I started working with them. But so for people that care about growing their business and then really going to bid for bigger jobs, that's going to be a great way to build like your company credit history.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
So you report Dun & Bradstreet, or you report to all the business credit bureaus.
Correct. Exactly. And then the thing is, like, most of the distributors, they don't do that. They do it internally. So everything is internally. So it doesn't really help you. And then Resolve also net 30. You can do net 30 and then pay by check, wire, and then even credit card for a fee. But that allows you to even extend further your payment, because it's 30 days for the terms plus 30 days for the card. So
yeah, I've only had to somebody a CFD person myself. Well, Eubank says, "What's up, fellow Craig? It's time for you to come on to the podcast. So don't forget, I'm gonna come after you next." So the pro account
Craig's
sounds
Fence Guy Fridays, his podcast.
Yeah, there you go. So check out his podcast. So it sounds like it's basically you've got it set up a convenient way to get credit for your company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Super easy.
Cool.
And it works really, really well. The only thing is, if you don't have a website, if you don't have like an email with your website, if you don't really have any credit history, you're not going to get a credit. But most of the people, they get credit. So
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty cool. And also one of the links that you shared with us as well too, and I think that anybody can actually go and find qualified technicians on here, regardless of whether you're a customer or not. They can go on your website and actually find people that you trust as installers. Is that correct?
So yeah, those are our customers. So our pro accounts, and so. To be, disclosure, because we're talking about disclosure before, we don't know how well they work, but they are our customer. They bought from us. They have a pro account. So one of the cool things that we do, because a lot of people, call and it's like, hey, do you guys do installation? It's like, no, click on this link and then you can call and then find someone. These are people that do business with us. So I cannot speak for, how good they are, but they do business with us.
Okay, gotcha. So in regards to the distribution model, I feel that there's going to be a pretty big disruption here pretty soon. I have always bought through distributors when it's been available to me. It made a lot more sense for me to take advantage of their buying power, as well as the RMA process that they have and tech support that they have. So that's just one person's opinion. Robert, what makes you buy through a distributor, or have you ever thought about not buying through a distributor?
Well, you can't buy straight from the manufacturer
without spending a tremendous amount.
Realistically, you can't buy from LiftMaster, Viking, Automatic. You got to go through a distributor.
Gotcha.
Unless you got $1 million, you want to go buy a couple $100,000 worth of operators. I mean,
yeah,
but that don't make sense, does it? So you buy from a distributor, and you rely on them because they're buying all the products they need to supply their self for their sales, and so you're under their umbrella.
And what I noticed that you just recently changed distributors. Are you like me, though, where you buy from like 4 or 5 different distributors, depending upon availability and pricing and all that stuff? Yeah, and I got to feel.
Yeah, we buy several different distributors, mainly East Coast gate operators and control products.
Yeah.
Both out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we have to shop around. Now you got the internet, so you can shop around on the internet.
That's a good question, Alex. Are you efficient enough to be in one location, or is other locations? I mean, Miami's a tough market from what I understand, and actually I'll be in Florida here in July in Davenport. There's a Finch University training that I'll probably be going out to. Can you be competitive with just one location, or are you looking at expanding to more locations?
So we do, as I was saying, like we have 3PL, so meaning we have like some other warehouses that we ship out of, but we cannot have people go there. So it's like really relies on shipping.
Gotcha.
For now, we're not really planning. So we know that some distributors work on margin that are so razor thin that, like, we don't want to compete with that. Like, our goal is to be convenient and make sure that people have somebody on their side. That's our goal, and to help people as well, because a lot of the time, I know you guys are very smart and you know a lot of things.
Well, I don't go that far.
No, we don't know.
Okay, but the thing is, like, sometimes you said, hey, I got this job and it's gonna be like a barrier gates and then access control, but they don't necessarily know access control. So our guys, they know not everything, but they know a lot. And so the thing is, like, we have a lot of pros. Sometimes they could say, hey, I have this job, can you help me? Can you help me with choosing like the right RFID system, or the right access control for this? And I can tell you one thing, that our sales guys, their goal is to get the least amount of calls after the sale. Like, the only type of calls they want to get is sales. So when they select a product, they know they're not going to get a call back on. And so that's one of the things that, like, I like to tell people, is they will only sell what they know is going to work. And a lot of time I have manufacturers calling us, they're like, hey, can you push our products? And I'm like, as I said, our salespeople, they will sell what gives them the least amount of trouble.
Yes.
And so that's always the idea. So for us is, I know that, like, if you really only care about the price, there are some distributors you cannot beat them on the price.
No. Everybody's kind of priced the same. There's really no real big competition there to me. I know they can lower the prices, but they do that with certain customers. Right out the door, face value, I think everybody's kind of like in the happy medium, same level. But anyways, we got a comment. Who's that comment there?
From Mr. Monty, one of the troublemakers out on the forum. I wouldn't trust anything he says, but I think this is the one time he brought up a good point. Buying from the distributor, you get to build a relationship, and they can advise different products, different jobs. Sometimes your go-to isn't right. So, I mean, I think that basically is what my opinion's always been. Texas was my last big market that I was in, and I primarily bought from one distributor. It was a single distributor, but for their tech support, I just couldn't beat it. And they would tech support stuff that they didn't even sell. So it was always helpful to have them as a backup. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so do you think that the distribution model going forward is going to see any major disruption with online or with see with these acquisitions? For instance, the venture capital firm Blackstone or BlackRock, whichever it is, I think it's Blackstone, owns LiftMaster, owns, for now, I think LiftMaster is about to get sold. They own Control Product Systems Group. Do you see there being any other major disruptions going on there?
But so I know that LiftMaster made a switch to work more with distributors, so that way they can really,
Okay.
That's really the idea. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I know that we got more installers calling us because of that, because they kind of say, like, if you don't buy this amount, then we cannot do the account with you. I know that some brands, they want to go direct, but they realize that it's complicated. I would say, like, the biggest issue for me and for the business is more like the type of products, and that's what we were talking a little bit early, is like all those Chinese operators that, like, are shipped directly from China. I think that's the hardest part, because you have people calling and say, oh, why is your thing like $2,000 to buy when I can get on Amazon something for like $350?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, if you buy the two and you compare, then you will understand. Or if you like something that works for 6 months, then you can buy that. But so far, I don't really see much changing, in the sense that it's complicated products. You need technical knowledge, and for brands, it's nice to have those distributors that help. After, of course, the private equity, they go in everything. I don't know if you guys heard about, like, the Guild Garage Door Group?
No. I mean, I've heard of them, but what is there something about to happen there?
So that's important for all of you to know. So it's 3 guys that they raise a bunch of money, and they went and bought like 17 garage door installation business in a year and a half. And now they are trying to get into the gate and the access control as well. So it's basically, what they do is economy of scale, marketing and all these things. So of course it's going to be difficult. The problem with these people is that they have like a business plan for 3 years. So they say, yeah, for 3 years we can lose money, we don't care, as long as within 3 years we get to that level, you know. And that's a big issue, because for smaller people, you're like, I cannot go for 3 years without making money. So that's the only thing that I see that could be, you know,
Well, that's a bad business plan for us, like quality. So,
Robert, you saw that in the fence franchise in your area, correct? That there was a fence franchise that came in and started doing all gate operators, and then
yeah,
so
it doesn't work
to that franchise.
You come
or
up
anything.
against a guy like me, you're gonna get crushed. I'm gonna crush you. I don't
we
care
know
how big of a business you are or who you are. Your customer calls me one time, I got them for life until they get tired of me. So they can have that business model all they want to, but that is so stupid. And then they're the ones that with that business model to fail like that, and they're the ones that the people should go after. In these court file stuff, whatever, UL 325, all these big organizations, you know, you're setting up a company to fail for 3 years. They don't care if they make any money on gate operators or service calls. And then after their 3-year plan, they're going to take the gate operators out and take the service plans out. That's what they're going to do.
And hopefully get people like me and you out of business at the same time, and then go up in
impossible.
Prices. Well, I agree, but I think that's what their plan is, and you see that in other industries, such as the automatic door industry, the overhead door industry, and the alarm industry. All of the consolidation that's gone in that, from the guy that's literally making the integrated circuit in Taiwan to the guy who's installing it in overhead door or an automatic gate in Dallas, Texas. It's the whole stream is owned by same company. It's all owned by Stanley or all owned by DH Pace or whatever the case may be. But yeah, we'll see that with LiftMaster. LiftMaster, the CEO, has already committed that of the venture capital group has already committed that he's in it for 5 years, and he hopes to make a profit. So we'll see how it's about that time. But with $3 trillion under management, we'll see if they even care about what happens there. But there's a lot of good people that work at LiftMaster.
The only good thing is, like, usually these companies, they come and they offer, you know, you have to be careful on the offer, but they always offer a good amount if you want to sell your business. So that's also a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was under the impression, or not under the impression, this is based on what I saw in the automatic door market. My thought process is what they were going to do was they have the manufacturing, they were going to buy the distributing, and then they were going to get into installation. Immediately you would piss all your customers off, but that's okay, because the customers that are getting pissed off are the customers that's also about to start losing money on the distribution side. So you let them lose money for as long as they can, and then they'll go out and buy these gate operator companies, buy these access control companies, and get into the installation business themselves, possibly even lending the money. But everybody that I talk to says that won't happen. But it seemed like to me that's the path that they were going down. And if LiftMaster gets sold here pretty quick, I don't think that that's actually going to go through. But who knows? They might make a deal for LiftMaster and Control Products as well too.
I don't think so.
Yeah, nobody agrees with me. The only thing that I was going from was what I saw with Stanley and DH Pace and Door Control Services, where you had DH Pace that like went from like 10 million to 110 million in 12 months to 250 million to 4,000 employees in another year, and that's where I thought it was going, because the model works in the automatic door industry and the overhead door and dock industry, where the people that make it are also the people that are installing it. So speaking of gear, I think Robert and I are gearheads. We like when a product works, and we like getting out there and installing a good product. Do you guys have the LiftMaster Tecna in stock, and are you guys selling it, and what's the feedback?
So far, it's been pretty good. I haven't heard anybody, calling and screaming at us, so that's a good thing.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, that's a good thing. Well, to be honest, we were pretty worried when they told us that they would release that and then phase out the mega tower,
Yeah.
because again, like the mega tower is like the workhorse. We know it works, we know it's
Mhm.
easy, and we know you don't really have any problem, and if you have a problem, it's pretty simple to fix. Now we know that, with all the technology, people want more. So I know that it took them a while. It's been, I think they've been working on it for like 2 or 3 years. um, and they really try to do some good things with it. We'll see on the installation, how people are doing it. I know that I was involved in helping them with installation, not like the technical part, but more of like the you know the making sure people follow the instruction at least.
Yeah.
And I told them, I told them when they asked me, I was like, look, um, you need to make it that we don't need to read the manual to install it or to program it.
Amen.
And
Yeah.
so I said, like, installers, like, they're not in the business of reading books for everything they install. Like, what they want is come in and have something that makes sense to install. So you need to make it easy. And so one of the things that I found they did really well is the programming is amazingly simple. It's, words. It's not like codes, numbers on the board. It's really like a screen that tells you what to do, how to do it, which is really nice. And then I know that they are trying to compete, with the bigger brands like Magnetic and FAC. And so I think they are rated for like 5 million cycles. So they are really trying to bring it up. They are really trying to bring it up, and the technology. So it's going to have MyQ, Wi-Fi. It's going to give you an alert if the arm gets struck, which is pretty cool. So they are, I know, I'm pretty excited.
Mhm.
Everybody's nervous. I'll tell you, in the company, we're all nervous about it.
Mhm.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, you know, from time to time, we kind of have to, like, okay, let's go and do it.
Yeah. Well, it's
Robert,
time
what's
to take that leap into technology, to further advance your product. So I understand why they're moving on up as far as like having the Wi-Fi internet stuff built in there and the different features that they got. So yeah, it's a way forward, and we're all nervous, and we're all thinking about what can go wrong with it. I mean, just by looking at pictures and videos that they've been putting out on Facebook and stuff, and you're like, man, what can go wrong with this? I mean, I like the Mega Tower so much, but now they coming out with this, and it just makes everybody nervous.
Robert?
Yeah.
What's your go-to barrier arm right now?
Mega Towers to go to.
Yeah, mine too. I just like it so much. Of course, Mr. Monty, he experiences the same thing that all of us experience. But I'm not sure that most people you can hire today know how to read, let alone understand how something works. And yeah, we all have that same struggle of trying to find qualified technicians, but much less trainable qualified technicians. So yeah, this I told them at the beginning that they're going to have some big shoes to fill. And if they stay in line with discontinuing the Mega Arm Tower, which is going to be in the next 2 months, 2 or 3 months,
Maybe a
discontinued.
little bit more. But from what I heard, it's more like towards the end of the year. It's
Yeah,
going
that's
to
what I
depend
heard.
basically on the ramp up of the tech now.
Yeah, I was told October. So I guess that's technically the end of the year, but it's just a few months away. But they better have this shit tight. If they don't have it tight, what you don't want to have happen is somebody, which is already happening right now, me being one of them. I am now in the barrier arm market because I need to find another barrier arm. Robert and I, for some of our applications, we both love Automatic for our sliders and the heavy duty sliders and stuff like that. Well, Automatic's just got a new barrier arm out as well too, and it uses the board that I think for the most part, Robert, if you let me know if you disagree, that we've really not had very many problems with that new board. Have you seen
No.
anything? Yeah, so basically changing out the firmware in that board gives you a barrier arm or a side gate operator. So we lower the number of parts, and the board that's in this gate operator is unlike any other board in their product line. And as I was talking about before, it's not, it wouldn't be putting it past LiftMaster for them to discontinue a whole line. So they, after they just introduced it, the HDs being one of that, which I don't know what your opinion of it is, Robert, but I refuse to install any of the HDs. I like the CSLs.
HDSL?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they were discontinued at one point in time, and they brought them back because they were having so many problems with them. But now I'll trust the CSL before I trust the HD. I mean, it's like an LA 500, LA 400. They're telling me that LA 500 can actually open 1,600 pound gates. I would trust an LA 400 before I trust an LA 500. So, anyways, that's the only problem is they got big shoes to fill. So if this thing is dead on and they don't have any problems. I know during the beta testing that they've had quite a few problems, just like every other product that's out there. So you can't hold that against them. But if this thing starts having control board issues or gear issues, they're going to be in bad shape. And
you will know if they have problems because nobody will in our company will sell them. Or at least if you ask for them and we said I don't advise it, and you still buy them, that's your problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was telling you, it's like if you hear us not selling them, you know why. But the one of the things though that I am thinking is that they are doing a test for the control board, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that control board that they put in the Tecna go in all of the other operators, and talking about Allomatic having one.
Yeah.
That control board would work and be in all of them. That would make things so much more simple having one board for all machines, and then basically, as you say, based on the firmware, it changes because the board has everything on it.
Robert, you haven't installed a Tecna yet, right?
No, I couldn't. No, I was going to, but I couldn't get one quick enough, so I had to do a mega tower.
Alex, I definitely don't want to step across the line with pricing and stuff like that. Robert and I talk about pricing, but from your standpoint, I know you can't. Is it comparable with a mega arm tower as far as pricing? You don't have to tell me percentage wise or anything like that.
It's so we have the public price on the website. Otherwise, and then the pro pricing is different.
Okay.
But what we're doing is that we need to get it moving. So I know that the mega tower, so the Tecna is $24.99, I think.
Okay. That's retail, or that's manufacturer's suggested retail?
That's the price we have, but the good thing is that we offer 50% off on the arm. That's like a deal that we got with LiftMaster, so that way it allows you to sweeten the deal a little more. For the mega tower, the thing is like because we sell so many, we manufacture our own arm, and so good thing that we had is that we are offering the arm for free with the mega tower when you buy it. So
you said that before, and I guess I skipped over it or wasn't 100% sure. When you say you're manufacturing your own arm, you mean you as All Security Equipment has a manufacturing component to it, and the arms are one of the things that you do?
Correct. Yeah. What we try to do is, again, like the point is to make your life easier. So we manufacture the arms that are super simple with the LED. So there is no programming to do. It's basically like the PCB is already in the LED, and the programming of the green and red is automatic. Like right off the box, it works. All you have to do is plug it in, and then we manufacture. Huh?
Does it have a tilt sensor in there? Is that what it's using?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the exact thing, but I know like we worked. I know it's based on the angle, so I think like the angle now that we have is like 87 degrees because we noticed that was the perfect angle to go green or red.
Okay.
And then we manufacture brackets also to help. So it's non-weld brackets. So I know you might cringe a little bit, but yeah, I know people like it, and so it only works on square posts, like either 4 or 6 inches. So it's specifically made for the LA 500 and for the LA 400. Like it's super heavy duty steel, powder coated, and it's not just welded. It's like really inserted and then welded. And
Do
then
you do you have YouTube videos out of
Oh
that?
yeah, I knew Mike was going to do that.
yeah, if you
No,
go to
no, Robert. What I was thinking, I thought they were in California, but there was a company out there that had a video of of those brackets.
He loves those brackets, Alex.
Yeah.
No, but we really like I told, like, it's we I don't make it myself. It's not my company that's making it, but we have a contract manufacturer that makes them. And so the idea is to make things that are like super resistant.
Yeah.
So like
Well, that's
this
what
thing,
Mike says all the time about the LiftMaster LA 500 is he didn't like the bracket. So when you said that, he's like, I want to know what it is, because he loves that.
It's so, I freely admit I have zero problems with it. That I like the LA, or excuse me, I like the Patriot one by US Automatic. It does everything that the LA 500 does, with the exception of it's not as quiet, but it's more durable. So I am a big fan of that. But from an installation standpoint, everything that you need to install it is in the box. And from the LA 500 standpoint, you don't have the shit that you need in the box to install it. There's not one technician out there that hasn't got a warranty call back to the tune of $400 or $500 where that front bracket hasn't ripped out of the gate, or they spent 2 hours fabbing up a push to open bracket out there. Whereas if LiftMaster just offered it, we would buy the product from them. It's kind of like a Maglock template that you pay $250 for, and it's an aluminum piece that you put up there, and it's got all the holes ready to go. Yeah, it's $250. It's probably more than what the Maglock itself cost. But if you had it for us, then we could save time and make the money back on the installation. Robert, am I wrong? I mean, should they not have all the shit that you need to install the gate operator?
No. That's why you got somebody like Alex here.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And then like now, if you want that template, honestly, like that's one of, so we don't try to compete with our brands that we sell. What we try to do is to create products that help installers. So I'm being super honest. If you have stuff you want me to make and you think it's a good idea, totally down to get the ideas, get the prototypes going, and make it.
Gotcha. Well, the brackets, I think that's one of the spots that the LA 500 has failed.
Yeah.
But where it doesn't fail, MyQ, quiet. People like the way that the arm looks. I don't particularly, because it's not black. I only like black because, I mean, it's like it matches almost all the stuff that's out there. But they failed like on the housing. The housing stinks. It's got a reset button on the outside, but it's got a receiver built on and all that stuff. So no, by no stretch would I ever recommend installing an LA 500 versus an LA 400 or a Patriot. I would rather have those two than the LA 500. But I know of people that have told me over and over they've installed LA 500 for 10 years and had no problems. I mean, I have to take them at their word. Mr. Monty was saying, I'm an automatic dealer, been using the DC 100 for 12 years. What's your slider go to, Robert, as far as the automatic line? You like the 90 or the 100?
The 100 is what I use mainly right now. But, if it's residential, I use the 90. And then if it's industrial, commercial, the 100 to the 150.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the 90 is, which by design, is that because it's smaller, it's harder to get your loop detectors and your receiver in there. There's like no room really for it to fit in there. Doesn't the new barrier arm from LiftMaster have 3 different boards in it, just going by what I've been told? So what he might be talking about, Alex, is there a power board, a main control board, and then some other board, just like they have on a CSL to 3000, like it's a SL 3000. It's got the board inside the limit switch. It's got the power board, the main control board, and then I think a board behind the main control board. So how many control boards are in the? No, keep in mind, I'm saying control board, but I mean circuit board. So it says has 3 different boards. So it doesn't have a power board in it.
I think.
It's
from
got.
What I remember, from what I remember, it's just one, and then you have one place with the to plug it in, but then everything is like on the top, and then that's it.
Okay, so what he might be referring to is just printed circuit boards that come with it, and like on the let's see, CSL 24, it's got 2 circuit boards, right? The expansion board, the main control board, and then I guess technically you could call the counter board, which they had problems with at the beginning.
So click on the link. So if you look at it, and if you there is one part where you have all the boards, but I see what he's saying. It's like you have 3 boards. When you look at the top, you can see 3 different boards, but it's one location.
Yeah. So, he also was saying every 400 and 500 I go to are sloppy. Now, granted, we don't install them. We just repair them. And those I hate when I can't control the gate at all times. Yeah, see, that's what our issue was. And we actually stopped repairing them. And then when we've been forced to repairing them by giving the customer the options, we don't warranty the arm. We will tell that we install LA500. We won't warranty the arm. But, Robert, you have had really good success with the LA400, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
But you won't do it without a maglock, correct?
I recommend the maglock. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So little
maglock is always important because as soon as you have wind, depending on the gate, like and we also have the 1,200-pound maglock. And that does help a lot for sure.
Yeah, and what you just said, the wind, that's the only reason I'm using maglock. It ain't for like security for a person coming by and kicking it, because you can open a maglock very easily. From 600-pound to 1,200-pound, it doesn't matter. You could take a screwdriver, pop it open real quick, or a kid with a bicycle can hit the gate and they'll pop it open. So, but mainly I like to use them for wind and to keep the gate secure and don't break the gearing and the actuator arm, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been my biggest problem, from everything from pushing the LE500 open to wind. And the rebuild kit is useless. I haven't had any success with that. So one of the things that we struggle with our businesses day to day is marketing, and I know you have some expertise in marketing. What the customers that you have on the end of the installation part of it, what do you see? Do you see anything out there that's been successful for them? Are you getting any feedback? Are the manufacturers helping any of these installers with some marketing dollars? Are the distributors helping these guys with marketing dollars? What do you see out there that's working, Alex?
So I would say that, marketing is changing rapidly every year. And it's like, 1 year is this, 1 year, and it's every time, some things start working, people are doing it for 2-3 years, then it starts changing, and then you have to do something. And so I would say, number one is like, talk to marketing agencies, and if you can work with one, you don't need to spend crazy amount of money, but at least have something and have someone you can ask questions, kind of like the same thing as a distributor. And then right now with the AI and the AI generated image and all this stuff, people are going back to I want to speak to a human. So I would say the biggest thing is show who you are. Having those really nice website with a beautiful person opening a gate or being happy in the house, it's people don't want to see that anymore. They want to see who's the person behind, who am I talking to? Okay. And so doing videos about yourself, pictures this is me and my wife, and we've been in the business for 15 years. People like that, and people will pay more money to a company that who you're talking to, and you're dealing with a person that has 15 years experience that stand behind their work, rather than having a pretty website with all the bells and whistles, but no personality. So that's, to me, that's my biggest recommendation.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about that too with you, giving my opinion. I agree with you 100% because what I've noticed is people that use the AI stuff on, we'll just say across the board, all kind of different businesses, it's all the same. Boom, 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 boom. And people are noticing that now. They're like, man, this is same as this plumber, same as this electrician, this carpenter, or this manufacturer here, small manufacturer. Everything's the same. And so when you get this AI stuff going on, it's just for the masses, and it's just a bunch of like a bunch of junk, really. And
No,
this
no, I agree. And
customer that
I
are
was just laughing because I see that Monty just posted something pretty funny. But honestly, it's like, it doesn't matter how you look or who you are. It's like, if I'm hiring somebody, I want to see the picture of the guy. I don't care how he looks. I want to make sure like this guy looks like a good guy, that he's like a family guy, that is like he stands behind the work, he cares about the work, because the saying is like, what costs more than a gate is having to redo it a second time because the first time you went with like the cheap guy. So a lot of people don't think about that, but to me, like, be real is really going to be the new thing. Not the new thing, but like the trend that people care about more. And then the big thing is like, make a good website. You don't need to have like a crazy website with crazy function and like
no.
price your gate. Like, just yourself, what work have you done, what work do you do, clear. Like, don't try to do everything, like be clear, and then how easy it is to contact you. And the biggest thing out of all of it, how fast do you respond to the leads when you get the leads? That's
And
the
if
big.
you're Monte, what's his name? Monte?
Monty.
If you him, if you do put your big fat butt on your website, I guarantee you'll get more calls.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I'm gonna have my car worked on, or I'm gonna have my motorcycle worked on, I'll take a good old boy over the slick hot dealership any day of the week, because they just don't take any crap, and they're going to do it the way that they were taught 30 years ago, and the way that works, right? So yeah, he better. We need to get a calendar together and put him on the cover.
Yeah.
So tools wise, I do use AI sometimes, but I do a lot of video, and I've been doing videos since day one, and still my business in Dallas, which I've officially closed just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, is basically just lead generation right now. And I'm working off YouTube and Google reviews and stuff that I haven't updated in a couple of years since I've been in Las Vegas. And I'm still getting a couple phone calls a week. Just off that right there, and luckily the people I'm referring to are sharing in the benefits that I refer them to. But yeah, I think part of that is because the videos are unedited. I mean, one of my biggest videos, the biggest complaint is that the video stabilization on the camera sucks. But I've got 60,000 views on it, which for me is a pretty big deal on an LA500.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So, Robert, I've been begging you for the two smooth operators for you to do more videos, because it makes me mad that when you do a video, when you just do it for like 30 seconds, it does better than any video that I like take a week to work on. Yeah. So, Robert, what do you just using out there? Is just your phone to take pictures of, or do you do any?
Yeah, I just use my smartphone. And take pictures and do short videos of my product. You can go on Evers Automated Gates and Fencing on YouTube, and you can see my videos on there that my customers can pull up and see. And what I do most of the time is I'll meet with a customer, like, I want to see a picture. So I got something better than a picture. I got a video of this gate, several different gates. And
exactly. That's the best.
Boom.
Yep.
That's it.
And then I did some videos like 7 years ago, and the dude saw my video last summer and said, I want that same operator. And boom, it was just that it sold itself.
Yep, totally. And again, it's like, don't overthink it. It's like
Mhm.
literally every job you do,
Not
you
wrong.
go to the job, take a picture of like this is how the gate was before, do your job, take a picture while you're doing the job, and then at the end, this is the result, and then take a video of like you opening it, closing it. Done. That should be actually part of like the any tech any employees that you guys have, if you have, that should be part of the job, is to do that. Like you should like
Yeah.
do the job, but then take a picture before, take a picture during, take a picture at the end, and take a little video opening it, closing. People love that. Like, and you look at Amazon, every time there is a video on the product, like no matter how dumb the product is like, oh, a keychain, and then you do a video like this is an amazing keychain, that, and it's
Yeah.
like people look at the videos, people love videos. So
Oh yeah.
you can,
I'm,
if you
I'm
want
one
to.
of them.
Yeah, and then the iPhone now, like, I have an iPhone, and like the quality of the picture is amazing. If you want to go a little crazy, I use this from time to time, which is like a little
Oh,
handle,
stabilizer.
yeah, stabilizer handle.
Yeah.
And
I
if you
got
want to
one
do
of
like
them.
a good microphone, DJI, they have this, and it's
Yep.
like a little microphone, amazing
Hmm.
quality for outside, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
I use them
honestly,
microphones too.
yeah, that's like what, $150. You can find it
Yeah.
on Facebook Marketplace for like $50, $70. You find a guy that like bought it and never used it and is trying to get some money back, and you can get it for cheap. But
I
that's
have
the best.
yeah, I went through all that, and I've got some pretty expensive camera equipment, and I got into photography after I got the video equipment, and I will tell you this, that the Samsung S23 Ultra and above, I stopped carrying an extra microphone, and I stopped doing video. It was such a good job inside on it, that additional. So I will typically run.
We lost you a little bit.
Tell me, typically
Yeah, we're losing you, Mike.
Oh, I will. Sorry about that. I got 5 bars here. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah, I can
now
hear
we
you
can
now.
hear you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that. So, anyways, my Samsung S23 Ultra has taken over my. Looks like I lost y'all again. Video and audio, and it's
We
also
see you and we
replaced
hear
my
you.
GoPro for video stabilization as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All
he's
right.
coming in now.
So,
But the
Okay,
microphone
sorry
makes
about
a
that.
huge difference. So like no matter how like this little thing, it's really, really good. That's
Yeah,
what a lot of YouTubers
So
are
that's
using.
it.
Like I didn't research. I look at YouTube. I look at everybody's having this one. We bought that one, and it's working.
So
Yeah, I got
audio
one
is
like
the
that.
most important thing. Audio is
Yeah.
the most important thing. Yeah, that's right. You use the Rode system, don't you, Robert? You
I
remember
use
what
the
you
Rode
have
for the. I got the Rode podcaster.
Oh yeah,
The
it's a
Rode
good
for
Pro
one.
2 for
but don't you use
podcasting and
but
controlling music
don't
and
you use
stuff.
don't you use the Rode
That's
wireless system too?
no, it's a cheap. It's
Oh,
just a cheap brand that you get from Best Buy,
oh, okay.
but it's the same
Well,
thing. What he just popped up there.
so the most
You can get
important
the
thing is
Rode.
most important thing if you guys are doing audio and video is always audio. Don't focus so much on the video. I mean, obviously you want to get whatever you're capturing in frame, but people will
Yeah.
turn off a video in seconds if it's too low, too loud, has pops and cracks, but they'll struggle through a video just to get that little bit of information if the audio is good. So Alex, if you don't
100%.
mind, since you are a business owner, I was wondering if it would be possible for you to give us some entrepreneurial advice. So it's a struggle that business owners have day after day, second after second of, well, why don't I just go down to one truck, or I'll just go ahead and fire this guy, and I like these 2 guys, and we'll just get smaller and start dealing with the customers that I like. Or can I just go back to one person? I was enjoying doing it by myself. Or how do I get bigger? I've topped out at $1 million, and for whatever reason, I can't go past that. Do you have any entrepreneurial advice for business owners?
Yeah, but so you know, the big thing that I've noticed is all the books out there is about like, making 100 million and this and that, but it doesn't really happen. Or buy a business, or like, start a business with $0. All those books, I find that a lot of it is a little bit of BS. And unfortunately, I find that it's a grind. So,
Yeah.
I always tell myself, be patient, do the thing. I think that the biggest thing that is helping me is to find books about like smaller entrepreneurs. So there is a good book that is called Buy Then Build, which is not about like starting a business, but it's about buying a small business and then growing it. It's a really nice book. It's a guy who actually bought his father's business, and how he went. Now he's like a famous guy and all this stuff, but he started small, and it's a very interesting book. I feel that a big thing is like to learn finance and accounting basics, just so that way you understand like where your finances are, how to get to your finances. And a lot of the time people are scared about doing a budget or doing projections, but at the end of the day it's like, okay, I want to do $1 million this year. Okay, how? And then like you go with your goal, and then you go back. Yep, exactly that one. And then the one of the things that I try to do in my business is like, okay, this year we want to do $1 million. And then, okay, $1 million, how do I get there? How many jobs is that? Okay, it's going to be, I'm just making up numbers, 100 jobs. If I want 100 jobs, that's going to be, 8 jobs per month. 8 jobs per month, I need 20 leads for one job. Okay, so it means that I need this amount of leads. How do I get this amount of leads? And it's really like step by step. And then from there, you have your numbers, put them out there, and then go at it. But that's the thing. It's like break down and do a good business plan. That's really the thing. And it allows you also to break down what needs to be done and where you want to be. And from there, you say, okay, if I want 20 leads, I need to spend, $10,000 on Google Ads or this or that, whatever. But by breaking it down from the goal, you know how to get there. And that's going to feel a lot easier to do that. So, and again, the other thing is, if you can hire, there are tons now of like with QuickBooks Online, there are tons of companies that do QuickBooks / accounting / finance services for not that much per month. And again, it's like, look for the people that know more than you and learn from them. And that's the thing. So it doesn't have to be somebody in Gates, somebody in somebody in Gates, just like, same thing. So have a monthly call with a bookkeeper or with like a CPA, and then say, hey, this is the problem that I have. What do you think about this? And they see tons of businesses and they can give you pointers. That's what I have every month. I have a call with the bookkeeping, like the CPA, and I say, hey, that was super annoying. Like, how can I fix that? Or can I get can I get a tax credit on this? And it's like, no, unfortunately, that's not how it works. Okay, how do I get this? Ask questions. It's like, you always be curious, ask questions, ask people that know more than you. That's what I do all the time. Like, I look for people in the particular skill that I need to learn. I find somebody that can either sell me their time or somebody that gives me their time. And I'm talking about work. And so you learn from them. And then you get better. And that's really the thing, is learning.
Well, I think knowing your numbers is part of that, but there's really only one number. There's actually 3 numbers that I focused on a regular basis, which is lead generation, billable hours, and then cash on hand. And I'm a single member LLC, so I didn't have to worry about if all of a sudden we went negative $500 in my bank account, what's going to happen tomorrow. I knew we were getting in an invoice tomorrow that would be paid for and cover that. But when I had my morning routine, I would actually check my bank account every morning. All right, and take a look, because I did a cash. I had a cash structure accounting, and I didn't worry about accrual. Everything that was cash is where we made money. And it helped me focus on turning those invoices over quicker and quicker, because that's how I did my accounting, could determine whether this month was good or whatever. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that scares a lot of people is not knowing your books separate from your numbers, your lead generation, how much cash you got coming in and all that, but your just books in general. So I see a lot of people are successful that have their wife or a family member that does their books, because it takes a lot of stress off them, because they are scared to go to an accountant and go, hey man, I've got a shoebox full of receipts. Can you show me how deep shit I am in? So it's one of those things that's got to be intimidating. Robert, who do you have do your accounting? Are you hands-on with your accounting and all that good stuff?
Everything's in-house.
Everything's in-house. Yeah, so I have a third party, a family member that does mine, and we do not do anything tricky. We don't do anything special. Nothing. We didn't do no PPA loans. We didn't do none of that, or whatever they were called. But we didn't do any during COVID. We didn't try to get any extra money or anything like that.
I did.
Did you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got $5,000 one year and $5,000 next year.
Yeah, we didn't do that because I just was afraid for them to recall it, and I'll be like, "Oh,
no,
I only
can't."
Can't
recall it.
Yeah, but in fact, they can if you do it within the rules. So that's the thing. It's like, in Miami, some people, they went and like they got millions, and they went and bought like Ferraris and like stupid stuff like this, and they got in.
Now you
trouble.
look at me. I'm the small businessman. I got 5,000. I know people that got millions of dollars because they had big businesses and bought a lot of stuff with it.
That was stupid.
I know.
Do the right thing. That's the main thing.
I know a couple of companies that's their chickens have now come home to roost, and you see them struggling. It's always sucks when you get a check that says this, that has the company name, and below it says this company is in bankruptcy, which is part of some bankruptcy plans that you have to have that on your check so people know that that you're in bankruptcy. But yeah, the accounting is just one of those things that's scary. If anybody's a Michael Gerber follower, the E-Myth Revisited was his popular book. They say that he says, like, this is one of the scariest things. You don't want to call an accountant because you don't want somebody to see where you're failing by not keeping the books. So real quickly, a couple of tips. Do you have any tips, Alex, about keeping up with your books just day to day as far as receipts, scanning them in, and getting them documented?
But find a system that works and do it. That's really the thing, and commit to it. That's the biggest thing, because so now that we have, again, with the phones, like, if you think about 20, 30 years ago, and I don't know if you guys had to do this, but like to do a receipt, a report, and you had to take all your receipt, put them on a piece of paper, staple them, put them in the scanner, scan them, give them to the accountant. I remember those days, and that was not fun. Now we have the phone that can like literally, read the receipt, and like I think QuickBooks has that.
And sometimes you can go in the stores and they'll have an option to email the receipt.
Yeah, exactly. Do that.
Hit that and boom, you don't have to worry about it no more.
And what you can do is, like, for example, so with Gmail, you can create specific mailbox or create an email. And now if you have your website, which you should have your website, create an email address that would be just for receipts. And that way you can even program that when that, so there are tons of things. But again, go online, YouTube, and say, like, what is the easiest way to scan my receipts in QuickBooks? And then there are tons of guys that they do YouTube videos on like automating all this stuff. So we do everything by email. Like, we refuse to get fax or like, paper stuff. Everything is through email. So we have tons of automation like this. But that's what I would do. I would YouTube the thing is how to automate my receipt. And the guys that love automation have channels about automation. And I'm sure that there are accountants that have YouTube channels on how to improve that. So same thing now with is just Google everything and like go on YouTube. That's one of the first thing that I do. I go on Google or YouTube and try to find my answer.
Yeah, I do relatively simple. First of all, everybody gets a debit card. Everybody that has a truck gets a debit card, and that debit card will have a certain limit on it. But everything that gets rung on that debit card will get sent to me as a text. Mine, anything above $250 gets sent to me as a text. And your bank will be more than happy to do that without having the individual sign a personal guarantee. Like if you have an Amex and you try to get it for your employee, it's most likely Amex is going to make you sign a personal guarantee for that. But I don't do credit cards. I just do debit cards, and then I have a separate account that they can only access a couple $1,000s in, and Chase is more than happy to do that. But they will have a file folder in the truck, and they just throw all the receipts in there. And then on Fridays, I would scan all the receipts, so I had a digital backup, and then I would staple all the actual printed receipts and then just put those away for 7 years or whatever they tell you to do. I ended up throwing all that stuff away just recently because the last couple of years I've been in Las Vegas. So I wasn't worried about them trying to come after me for years of taxes or whatever the case may be. But what I also ended up doing, or this is actually something you guys may want to keep in mind, this scanner is where I scanned everything, and it will actually classify certain receipts into certain folders. So the software is smart enough to know that a Home Depot receipt goes in this folder and so on. And then through Chase can automatically input all of your stuff into QuickBooks. So you just import it in there, and it's automatically in QuickBooks, and it'll file it for you as well too. But don't be scared to give your guys debit cards. It's a whole lot easier than doing them paying for it, them paying cash for it, and then you reimbursing them. It's just way too many steps. So, but I've noticed a lot more people are using QuickBooks online. Mr. Monty was saying every employee has 3 credit cards for Lowe's, Home Depots, and fuel, and we pay our 30-day account with American Express. Card makes bookkeeping really simple. So, that's one of the things that we did as well, too. All right, so from the distribution end of the world, is our distributors better or worse? Or should we all buy from distribution, and should we all buy from all security equipment? So what are your thoughts?
I'll go with the latest one.
So what's your pitch on distributors? What do you feel as far as in general you can offer people buying directly from you as opposed to manufacturers or another distributor?
I would say like so I'm just going to give you my point of view of all security equipment and the way that we run our business. So as I said, a distributor, represents many brands. And in our case, we sell what we know we're not going to have issues with. That's like the main thing that we do is when we have 2 or 3 issues with a manufacturer or that they're annoying to do the RMA with, we always tell people, hey, this is a good product, but if you have a problem with the warranty, be ready because it's going to be a nightmare. Or it's going to be very difficult, or they're not gonna warranty anything. Some manufacturers, like, they make it so hard to get a replacement or something that, like, at the end of the day, it's like, whatever, I'll just replace it or buy new. So one of the things is, like, for us, we look at it in the way that we want it easy to do business with a manufacturer, which at the end of the day benefits you. So if you have a good distributor that works like this and does not I would say does not have pressure from brands to sell and doesn't play that game, that's a good thing. The second thing is, like, we always fight for our customers. So anytime there is a problem with a warranty or this or that, because we have the buying power, we can fight for you and, like, have manufacturer makes exceptions. So of course, I'm saying that it doesn't not happen, but sometimes when we feel that it's, like, unfair what's happening, we fight. And we actually have our operations manager When she's mad, you don't want to have her on the other end of the phone because she's gonna make you do whatever she feels like is the right thing to do. She's very fair. She's a really a good person, but like she really fights for people, which is really nice. So, and then the other thing for us is that since our idea is to make things easy for people, you get access to products that you don't have at other distributors because we manufacture as well. So, in our case, but to me, the distribution, if you have a distributor that is like agnostic on the brands, they know what works, they know they can give you advice on like, be careful with this brand. I think it's super valuable. And to me, it's like, it's the service, and with the brands, they are in it for themselves. That's the end of it. So they are in it for themselves. So if they don't want to help you because they feel like they don't like you, they might not help you. We are here to really help. That's to me, like that's how I see things. Sometimes we really like have conversation with manufacturers like, look, like this guy is a really good guy, he bought so many times from us, and I really think is you guys have an issue with the product and you need to help us.
Yeah, I don't have too many people going to bat for me on that because I'm a little vocal about not being a guinea pig. But I like the old school things. I just like whatever works. To me, when somebody says Dorking 1835 is outdated, I'm like, but does it work? And does it do what your customer needs? So at the end of the day, that's why I'll still put those in and give my customer other options. Robert, man, we're about to get out of here. Do you got anything else for Alex before we take off?
Well, check him out. Check his distribution center out. Get up with him. Buy from them and tell them you saw it from us, so we can get sponsorship out of this deal.
I told you guys, if I'm super serious. If you guys have like product ideas that nobody is making and you want to make it, we can definitely work on an idea, because my goal is, as I said, is creating little accessories and products to make it easy. So I always love to create new products. So
those LE500 brackets, just that alone is a reason why somebody should call you, because yes, you can make them yourself and all that good stuff. But and by the way, are those brackets steel?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you could weld them on if you wanted to. Okay, but you could weld them on if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, that right there is a reason to call you, because what we have to do is buy the LE500, take the box apart, then we lose parts. We can't find out where the bolts are. We can't find out where the main nut is. And then we build it at the fab shop and then take it out in the field and then realize that we have half the shit left at the shop because we had to take it apart to use that front bracket to be able to build the push to open. Well, Alex, look, we appreciate it. The website is allsecurityequipment.com. And if you want, you can check out their pro account. It's /pages/pro-account. And then it might be worth it for you guys to do that on some of the stuff that you can't find from other distributors, especially because these guys ship. Now, just real quickly, your other shipping locations, are they in Florida or?
No, in the West Coast.
Oh, okay. So you had planned that strategically so
Correct.
You could ship to the West Coast quicker.
Yep.
All right, great.
That's cool, man. That's very clever. I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. Well, good. All right. Well, look, Alex, we look forward to having you back on, and thank you for stopping by and giving us business advice and talking to us about your company. All right, Robert, hit it. Going to sign off. Thanks, man. Well, I look forward to taking a look at those brackets.
To another good episode of Two. Hey, he loves those brackets.
Yeah, the brackets make my job
the
easier.
Only podcast about gate operator life for technicians. Your host, Michael Brooks.